Good morning, Whiplash Group members. I am excited to have Nina Hershberger with us this morning to help us take our marketing game next level, both inside and outside of our office. She has coached so many people in this area, and we've known each other for years. And not only has she helped me with the Whiplash Group and with my practice with some of the book stuff, but some of our seminars, you've seen her at some of the Whiplash Group seminars if you've been to the big 3-day ones. I love working with her. I love connecting her to our doctors and attorneys because she has tools that all of you need and so many of you are not taking advantage of to really build your credibility and blow it through the doors. I mean, think about it. When you have a patient come in or a client come into your office and you have a book, even if it's something very simple to give them as your client, let alone something to bring in new clients and new people with them, a magazine or a book. So, Nina, if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us some of the success stories of other people that have utilized your products and some of the products you have for us.
Yeah, so I've done quite a few chiropractors actually. Let me show you this one, and you're absolutely right, Dr. Shetlin. This one is only a 4-inch by 7-inch book. Let's see, what is it? About 70 pages, probably. Yeah, right around 74 pages. He gives this, it's in his welcome packet, every single new person that comes in. He's ordered hundreds of these because they work so well. It tells the story, tells frequently asked questions and the answers to that. It's, he's the one who's written the book on living a pain-free life.
Let me just pause on that. So doctors, chiropractors, PTs, and MDs, whether you're a pain MD that's working in personal injury or the other ones we just mentioned, to have something like this that's pre-answering questions that people have, it's like your arm is reaching outside of your office because now you're giving something for your patients to help them stay pain refer, but they have a tool to now give to somebody else that they care about to tell them the things you would want to tell them if you were there with them in person. I'm sorry, go ahead.
All of us forget. I might listen to you and I might remember something you said for about, maybe 10 minutes after I leave your office, but then I don't remember it. And then when my kids ask me, well, what did he say? Well, I'm not sure. That's the beauty about this. You can just give them the book, particularly in the Whiplash. I mean, because you guys, there's certain things that you really need to know. And that's why it's extremely important. Let me give you another example. So this particular gentleman, his name is Dave Holder. He is in my local area here in Indianapolis area in Indiana. He's an assisted living locator. So his job is to help families who are looking for their loved ones, a community to go to. He gets paid by the community. So he needs to answer questions. And, when you're going through that, I've got personal experience. For the last few years, we had gone through that with my mother until she passed away in June. But just having a book, being the author, because he does have competition. So now you can say, I'm the author of the book. And then we put him on the front of the magazine. Those two things, and he told me this just 2 weeks ago, actually his business last year, after 6 years being in business, was the biggest he'd ever had. And he directly said it was because of those two pieces. It puts you in an authority status. Here's another chiropractor we're working on right now. If you see right here, this is just a proof copy. So here's how that process works. And is that okay, Dr. Shetlin, to talk about how the process works?
Please.
Okay, so many of you will have probably a patient orientation kind of program where you talk about what it is you do and how you do it and all of that. We record that, or you record it, and I take that recording, and that's the beginning of your book. From that, we can then create the magazine piece. So it's your words, your strategies, everything about you, your voice. So it's not me. So that's how we get that done. Here's a orthopedic surgeon. Now, as you can imagine, if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, or whatever, you go in and people ask the same questions over and over and over. So this is how this works. So when you have somebody calling in saying, I'd like to make an appointment with XYZ, whatever it is, a physical therapist, doctor, whatever, you say, oh yeah, Dr. So-and-so just wrote the book on whatever it is, Whiplash, whatever. May we mail you a copy before you come in? Oh, I'd like that. So by the time they arrive in your office, They have read this 30-minute book. It's all it takes to read that book. And now you can say, so do you have any other questions? So you can see how that saves you time, how it makes it easier and everything. So Dr. Shetlin, that's kind of how it works.
Mhm. So what's the leverage points that you see the book versus a magazine?
They both go hand in hand, but if you do any kind of speaking, I always say take that magazine piece and put it on every chair when you're speaking. And then you could always say, I just wrote the book on whatever. I'd love to autograph a copy, a free copy, if you just meet me at the back of the room. That's one way. Of course, I just talked about the possibility of putting it into a welcome package. But I have a feeling that some of you that are listening to this probably do speaking engagements. And it's a very, very good way because they'll never remember who you are. Everybody gives their business card or a brochure, but these are a different impact for them.
Think about something like these books leaving the ask books, which I don't want you to notice the theme there. She had several of those books that were the ask. So she will help either ghostwrite it or together we can ghostwrite one that then can be used in multiple areas. You're not going to put it on Amazon. It's your fancy business card that you leave. Imagine if you're doing a lunch and learn and you leave everybody a signed book. You sign them in at the back of the room as you're signing people up to come to your office after your lunch and learn. Or sign them up as clients, and you're giving them a signed copy of your book. That's amazing. We're just leaving them there with them at a lunch and learn. Or if you're doing other speaking gigs, or you're putting them in the welcome packet for your patients, they're just such a good, useful tool. These are the new business cards. Business cards are they're just, I mean, maybe for BNI or something like that, business cards are still useful for a business networking international group that you're doing weekly. But other than that, when you're going and meeting somebody in person, you want to give them something of value that they will put on a shelf or they can hand off. They're not going to just go chuck it. So please think seriously about these and reach out to me so I can help connect you with Nina so we can really make the magic happen. On the magazines are such a powerful tool, like the Whiplash group magazine we've done. We also have done them in our office for just the office, but it's highlighting in the office different specialties that you have in your office or your staff. You can highlight your staff and help them feel amazing, like rock stars, because they are. If you're hiring people like I hire, you're hiring rock stars, especially if we're doing business finishing school where they train you how to hire a 5,200%er. I know your team are rock stars and you want to highlight them in your magazines. And that way you give something fresh to do a new magazine every year or every 6 months and have articles in there that you're writing about the products and services in your office. Now, if you want to help with the Whiplash Group one, when I say help, it's us helping you because you can be on the cover of the Whiplash Group magazine. Whiplash Group members are writing the majority of the articles, but there's an article in there that highlights you and your practice, medical, legal, PT, chiropractic, it doesn't matter. We want to do one of these every 6 months. It's time to do another one. I really encourage some of you to reach out so we can start getting in these in the queue for the next, when I say 6 months, every 6 months in an area. We have multiple areas. We got 50 states. The Whiplash Group is nationwide. Let's start getting more of these going. So the magazines are also a powerful, powerful tool. Now, this is something, a magazine is what I want to leave on each chair when I go to visit a BNI group or go do a lecture somewhere that I'm trying to help that audience understand about personal injury.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing about it, and you did this, you can actually have advertisers in your magazine that will pay for it 100%. So, I mean, you had a dentist, I think, that was in your strip mall for a period of time that was on the back of your magazine and different ones. So you could do that. That's an easy one too.
Yeah, that's great. So in the local one, you can get a couple ads in there that are from your businesses around you where they're helping to offset the cost of your magazine or even cover the full cost of it. In the personal injury world, you should be able to get some attorneys that you know, like, and trust, and they should be totally willing to help have a sponsor an ad in there. So you're giving the magazine of who you know, like, and trust to refer to in that place. Or if it's a PI firm, then you want to make sure that you're putting in there some of the doctors or having articles from some of the doctors to help cross market each other. Such a powerful tool.
But Dr. Shetlin, you actually took your magazine that you had in your practice and you put it in the waiting room. And so if you had anybody else who had an article in that, then that should be to their people as well. So now it's not just your list, it's even going beyond your list.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you guys are getting a glimpse, like the tip of the iceberg of how powerful these tools could be. And they work for years. So even if you use one and set one up and you think, oh, am I going to get my ROI right away? It only takes one personal injury patient from somebody using one of your books or one of your magazines to refer in. It's like well more than paid for it. And then everything after that is just gravy. Maybe you're printing up 100 at a time or 200 at a time every few months and then handing out more. That's up to you. But I don't see how you can't get a good ROI from a tool like this. They're just so awesome. And thank you so much, Nina, for putting these things together and helping out the Whiplash groups. I know you give us an amazing discount and deal because we just have a good relationship and you trust our tribe. And so thank you for that.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll cut it loose. And Whiplash Group, don't hesitate to call me or text me or email me this week, and let's get boots on the ground getting these tools working in your office.